An Olympic champion, Ironman world champion, and world triathlon champion. Just phenomenal. He has single-handedly in the space of 1 year dominated the sport, both in long and short course racing, which is what makes this so special. To maintain top-end speed while maximising your aerobic engine for long course racing is no easy feat, and for pretty much any other athlete would be impossible. The versatility he brings is just superb, and this is highlighted in his performances. It is the science behind the athlete, though, that I truly think has led to his success, and is something that hasn't really been adopted by anybody else. You know, he's 10 years ahead. He's testing his VO2 max constantly, taking lactate several times a day during his workouts, monitoring glucose levels, and he's even measuring his core body temperature, alongside many other tests. In short, this allows him to train extremely efficiently and have absolute understanding of his training zones and his bodily efficiency. His work is based off science, and personally I believe science wins every single day of the week. Now, if we compare Kristian to someone like Sam Long, for example, from an outlooker's point of view, it just looks incomparable. Now, I may be wrong here, but from what Sam Long posts on Strava, if you look at his rides, it looks as if there's a lack of fluidity and focus on each specific session, but instead just big building rides, as he calls it, where there isn't much structure at all outside the set intervals, whereas Kristian's taking his lactate within every ride pretty much. Now, this gives you a real-life, immediate showing of how hard you're pushing, allowing him to scientifically base his session on how his body is feeling versus just going off what feels right, which it seems Sam is doing. Although, like I said, don't quote me on this, it just from an outlooker's point of view looks like it. Now, this difference in training methodology is shown in racing performances. This isn't a dig on Sam, I love the guy, I think he's great for the sport, but it seems like Kristian, like I said before, is just 10 years ahead of everybody else in terms of research and development and the application of this to his actual training. I mean, he once drank a $2,000 bottle of water infused with oxygen isotopes, which then allowed him to monitor overall oxygen efficiency from urine samples. This is just above and beyond, and nothing is off limits. I think this statement highlights everything, to be honest with you. What other athlete is doing this? Absolutely nobody. He's going above and beyond, and I think this is the definition of absolutely leaving no stone unturned. I think this also applies to the Norwegian setup. I mean, it's just phenomenal, and I'll do another video on this further down the line, but they've got some mega athletes coming through the system. What you'll also probably notice is that when he races, he always looks in control. He knows where he is, how hard he's pushing, and how much gas he has left in the tank. The work's already been done in his training, and then racing is just the show. Kristian and the Norwegians focus a lot on long threshold sessions, building that aerobic engine, but again, doing this scientifically and going off lactate measurements versus just say numbers that he got from an FTP test 2 months before that. It's just taken to another level and a notch above everybody else. I think this is just truly fascinating because it's challenging those preconceived conceptions of how athletes should train to be the best. The idea of only doing long, slow sessions and very hard, short sessions and nothing in between. Whereas it seems these guys are doing a high proportion of their training in that zone 3 / sort of in between section, and it's clearly working extremely well. For me, I think it's going to be really interesting once we see other athletes adopting this style of training methodology and the lab efficiency also, as we then might see the playing field level out a little bit. And at this point, will Kristian still remain the best? Who knows? We can only wait and find out. We've seen it with Lionel Sanders and how much he's improved since adopting this style of training, so who knows what will happen in the future. But for now, the Norwegian train is real, and it's far, far ahead of everybody else. Honestly, I don't see anybody apart from maybe Jan Frodeno coming close to Gustav or Kristian for a good few years, and yes, this is a bold statement, but how can you not back a young, scientifically driven team striving for greatness? You just can't bet against them. Now, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and drop any questions you have. Please also hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.